And welcome back. This is the 8th video in the series for the Flow Certified Professional online course. And in this video, we're going to look at the outline of flow. And it basically follows the flow formula. So that's vision plus right people plus the 4D model equals flow or success. So, in the beginning here, in the FCP slide deck, I don't follow the other FCC outline exactly, but it's pretty close. It's still following the formula. And we're going to talk about the formula pretty much right up front. And so that's here, the flow friction formula. And out of that, we can do the flow friction analysis, and that's an extremely powerful tool, especially for retrospectives. And measuring over time, is your team eliminating the friction points that could keep you from actually succeeding? Going to look at our definition of vision. We're going to look at, are you walking the talk or are you just talking the talk? I see Atlassian software recently, somebody had posted, Atlassian is finally going to walk the talk and not just talk the talk. And they're going to a totally remote work format. And so we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the 4D model and vision. We're going to look at keeping it simple. And again, I've said this over and over again throughout the last 25 years. What we do has been honed down to very simple methods and frameworks and models and mindset that when you look at it, you go, oh, that's simple. Until you try to do it. Then you go, it's simple, but it's not easy to do. It's hard. And so the people who are able to actually do this, they're going to succeed. We're going to talk about the VSPT model and the origins of that and how we modified that into flow. We're going to talk about cascading vision and some of the things you're going to run into, differences in language, dilution, how your message gets lost as it's communicated down through the organization. You're going to look at distillation and why that's so important. And then we're going to look at anticipatory vision, some of the work of Dr. Daniel Burris and how that dovetails right into flow. We're going to look at our definition of culture. We're going to look at what happens when cultures collide. We're going to look at some brutal facts. Sorry, I don't pull punches anymore. It's just there are some really brutal facts out there that need to be dealt with organizationally, product-wise, team-wise, individually. And if those things aren't dealt with, then you're going to see less and less success. Okay? We're going to look at what it looks like to be in flow versus anti-flow. We're going to look at Agile management coaching, okay? And that's a combination of Agile coaching and management consulting. And then we're going to look at the art of politics. Ted and I had the advantage of growing up in a family where our dad had to run for elected office throughout our entire lives. So the way we do politics and political management, we view it from a campaign management standpoint, how to run a successful campaign, how to build critical mass, and that impacts how we do our stakeholder analysis. There aren't many other companies that do the type of analysis that we do the way we do it. As we're moving through the formula, we're going to look at right people. And how do I become the right person? We're going to look at the 4R model because that one goes all the way back into the early 80s when I learned the first 3 R's when I was studying at the university and already starting to work. We're going to look at a little bit at personalities. Again, we're not trying to recreate the wheel, okay? For individual flow and stepping into individual flow, there are so many programs out there. It's just mind-boggling. And Dr. Csikszentmihalyi, he spawned an industry in 1972 of personal coaches who work in sports and business and other areas. Lifestyle coaches, all of that's a spin-off of Dr. Csikszentmihalyi's work in how to get into flow. All right. And we're not here to recreate that, but we're here to help you leverage it. We're going to look at roles, the teams, leadership, and the journey to creating internal coaches. This might be a path that a lot of companies are going to resist, and they're going to do so at their own detriment. After the 4R model and right people and roles, we're going to look at the 4D model. And we're actually going to be looking at the 4D model pretty much throughout. You'll notice it was at the beginning of the video here on the slide. And it's, again, this is something that's been distilled over the last 25 years and used over and over again. And it helps you understand that there are multiple aspects and lenses and layers to what we're doing when we're trying to create the product, service, or result that we're trying to create for the company. All right. And so we get, again, into the definition of flow. We're going to look at how flow turbocharges Scrum, Agile, Lean, Kanban, whatever you're doing. Flow is an umbrella that sits over the top and helps all of those different tool sets and methodologies work together and play nice together. And that's why flow is a leadership framework and not just a simple model or methodology. As we get into the later videos, we're going to look at the 4 lenses on leadership and transformation. And again, if you really want to get deep into that, you'll want to do the Flow Certified Coach certification as well. And for that, you're going to go through an additional 4 hours of videos. And it's the Voices of Flow. It's a dozen other flow coaches and trainers who are going to share with you their parts of their journey in doing transformation. And so you're going to learn about the aha curve, and you're going to learn about transformation. You're going to learn the difference between tool set and mindset. You're going to learn a little bit about using flow to govern and lead agile organizations. You're going to learn about how flow enables successful transformation and scaling. And a lot of the scaled agile frameworks out there are struggling because of the friction that's created because of how those are put together. And so by the time we're done, hopefully you'll be able to go, oh, okay, I get this. I understand what the points of friction are and what I have to do in order to smooth that friction and get it down to 0 friction so that those frameworks can actually deliver the return on investment that you just put a whole big pile of money on. All right. The other problem is that companies think that they can start to scale immediately once they've got a couple teams that have learned Agile, and it doesn't work like that. You have to have every team in the scaled effort working together, and they all need to be successful Agile teams already. And if they're not, that's going to impact your transformation dramatically. Then we're going to look at flow in a nutshell. And then after that, I'm going to take you through flow-based Agile. Okay, and that's the last part of all of the videos, and how to apply Agile and the basics of flow to Agile, and then how to apply flow to Scrum. It's like putting Scrum on steroids. Again, we're going to look a little bit more at using it to transform and scale. And at the very end, for those who are actually going to go after a Scrum Master test, I'm going to give you a few of the tips that Ted and I have shared in the past. So this is the outline for all of the following videos. I think since this is video 8, I think we have about 40 more videos to do. So we're 16% complete. And it's, yeah, you're getting there. So what's that, about 1/6? So a little bit over. But this is the end of video 8 for the outline for flow.